Mataji, who has to be welcome? She's not there. I can welcome. Vanchakalpataruphishta kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Thank you all so much for joining us and giving us your most valuable association today. May I know who all are on the call today?
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. This is Yashmati Priya Devi Dasi from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yashmati Priya Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Srila Prabhupada, thank you Mataji for joining the call and giving us your most valuable association so regularly. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, very beautiful recitation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, with pranams of glories to Srila Prabhupada, Guru Maharajas and all the assembled Vaishnavas. This is Kirtida Sundari.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much Mataji. And we are looking forward to your wonderful class. Hari Bol. Anyone else would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Praise Vilasni Mataji. This is Shivani from Ashford, Virginia. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Shivani Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Shivani Mataji, for your very warm association on this call. Hari Bol. Anyone else would like to introduce themselves?
Hare Krishna, HG Kirtida Mataji, HG Kirtida Sundari Mataji, and pranam to you and all Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Vranda Gopika Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji, for joining us and giving us your most valuable association on the call today. Thank you, dear devotees, for Hare Krishna. I welcome everyone to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Today we'll be having a class by Her Grace, Kirtida Sundari Mataji, and she will be speaking on Nectar of Devotion. This series is a summary of the chapters of Nectar of Devotion. Today we'll be covering chapter 7. Before we go ahead, I would like to read Srila Prabhupada's quote for 20th March. And this was spoken by Srila Prabhupada on 20th March 1969 in a letter to Rai Rama. It says, depend on Krishna because after all, he is the ultimate master of all situations. It is not the doctor or the medicine or the place, but it is ultimately Krishna who is the master to do everything. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Again, I welcome each one of you to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Thank you all so much for joining us and giving us your most warm association. And we are very honored and delighted to have our own Kirtida Sundari Mataji to be walking us through Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion, and she'll be covering the summary of chapter 7. Mataji, you can now take over the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Preeti Vilasni Mataji, for your warm welcome. Thank you, dear devotees, for joining us, for your very, very kind association. Let's get started with Mangalacharan prayers, and then we'll go ahead with the subject. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। गुरुवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय तदालय कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। मुखं करोति वाचालं भङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्येश्वरम्। Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you once again for your association. I'll share my screen and we'll quickly get started with our Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So we are in chapter number 7 now, and this chapter entitled is Evidence Regarding Devotional Principles. So what all we covered, I'll not go detailed in all the waves, in all the laharis that we have covered in the Purva Vibhag, but just a last what we did is the 64 limbs of devotional service. And out of those 64 limbs, Srila Rupa Goswami mentions, first of all, he mentions that the limbs of devotional services are not limited to 64. They are laksha, they are unlimited. But I have taken the pradhanta, the most important ones. And from where he has taken? Anybody remembers from where he has taken these 64 limbs?
Is it Haribhakti Vilasa Mataji?
Yes, excellent. It's from Hari Bhakti Vilas by Srila Sanatana Goswami. So there many limbs have been mentioned, but he has taken the most important ones and he has mentioned. The first three, he says, are the most important, which cannot be neglected or ignored at any point of time. Including those first three, the first 10 are the positive injunctions, means the do's that one has to perform. Next 10, he mentions the don'ts. Rest, he mentions about the rest of they're secondary. They are not so important, but yes, at the same time, they are important if one has to perform devotional service. So in total, he mentions out 64. And out of those 64, the last 5, he says that I have already said that the last 5 are the repetition. He acknowledges, right? Rupa Goswami himself acknowledges that the last 5 are the repetition, but don't think that it's a punakti dosh, means it's not the fault of redundancy, but it is to emphasize or to give some emphasis on those important limbs of devotional service, and that's why he has added them separately. So again, quickly, what are the first 3 that Rupa Goswami mentions are the most important ones? Anyone? Yes, dear.
Shraddha. No, sadhu. Oh no, devotional service, right? Sorry.
No, limbs I'm asking. The first 3 limbs of devotional service. Out of those 64, he mentions, right? Go ahead.
Taking shelter of a bona fide spiritual
Taking shelter of the bona
Spiritual.
fide spiritual master, getting initiated by the spiritual master, and obeying the orders of the spiritual master with Shraddha and Bhakti.
So that are the first 3, which he says most important. It's very good that you are reciting and you are telling in English, but Rupa Goswami, the text was in Sanskrit. So it will be good if we connect to his language and we start memorizing in his language what he wants to say. So first was Guru Pada Ashraya, second was Krishna Shikshadi Dikshanam, and third was Vishrambhena Guru Seva. Fourth was Sadhu Vartmanu Vartante, to follow in the footsteps. But he says that the first three are the most important, which cannot be neglected at any point of time. What are the last five, he says, which he repeats, and he says that they are most important?
Sadhu Sangha, Bhagavad Shravan, Mathuavas.
And?
Srimurti.
Deity
Bhagavata
worship.
Shravan,
Deity worship.
Shri Vigraha Seva, Sankirtana, Mathuravasa, Sadhu Sangha.
Excellent. So you can memorize this also in the form of a verse. Sadhu Sangha Namakirtan Bhagavat Shravana Mathura Vasa Shri Murtir Shraddha Sevana. This is the verse from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And if you remember this verse, you will get all the 5 important 64 limbs that he mentioned, that 5 the most important ones. Sadhu Sangha, Namakirtan, Bhagavata Shravana, Mathura Vas, and Sri Murti Sevana, Shraddhaya Sevana. Very good, excellent. So after mentioning all this, then Rupa Goswami says, Artha Arshunu Mateshanam Uddharanam Iriyate. What I will do is, don't think that whatever I have stated is out of my whimsical thoughts. Don't think that what I said is true. Rupa Goswami says, I'll back it with Shastras. Atha Arsha Anu. Arsha refers to the Shastras. He's saying, I will back up whatever I have said by giving the evidence, by giving the proof from the Shastras. Udharanam Iriyate. I will give evidence from different scriptures supporting the authenticity of many of these points. So here, from chapter number 7, he states the evidence. He gives the authenticity of all the limbs of devotional service. Chapter 7 deals with first 18. And we will also cover first 18 by Krishna's mercy. And we'll cover chapter number 7. Evidence regarding devotional service. Tatra. So first was Guru Pada Ashrayo. Tatra Guru Pada Ashrayo, he says. That was the very first. Okay, try to memorize it in Sanskrit. Guru Pada Ashrayo, Krishna Shikshadi Dikshanam, and third was Vishrambhena Guru Seva, and fourth was Sadhu Vartmanu Vartmante. Guru Padashra, Yatha Ekadashe. This refers to Ekadasha Khanda. That is from the 11th canto, he is giving the reference. What is the reference? Tasmad Gurum Prapadyate Jitnashu Shraya Uttamam Shabdapare Cha Nishtanam Brahmani Upashamrayam. So now he is giving the evidence. He is saying the qualification of a guru. If you take shelter of a guru, if you take shelter of the lotus feet of a bona fide spiritual master, one should know who is a bona fide spiritual master. So he is saying that I'm giving you in this verse the evidence that talks about the qualification of a bona fide spiritual master. Tasmad, therefore, Gurum Prapadyate, you should offer yourself, you should obey, or you should surrender yourself unto the spiritual master, who is Jignashu. Jignashu means a person who is very, very desirous. Desirous of what? Shreya Uttamam is very, very desirous of the highest goal or highest good to be done to others. So a bona fide spiritual master is not a selfish person. He is a selfless person, and he will work only for the highest benefit or the highest welfare activity for the people in general. So that is the very first qualification of a bona fide spiritual master, that he is Jignashu Shreya Uttamam. He is a person who is very, very desirous of the highest good done towards others. Shabda Pare Cha Nishtanam. Nishtana means he is very expert. He is Parangat. He is Parangat in what? He is Parangat in Shabda Brahma and Para Brahma. He is Parangat means he is expert in both Shabda Brahma, Shabda, Shabde actually, in Sanskrit it's Shabde. Shabde Brahman means Shabda Brahman and Pare Brahman. He is perfect in these two. What are these two? Shabda Brahman is the Vedic literature. The Vedic literature, or you can say some devotional literature. So he is expert in Shabda Brahman. He is expert in reciting the Vedic literatures or the devotional literatures. Parabrahman, he has the knowledge of everything. He has the knowledge of Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, all the practical activities that one can do for devotional service. He is expert. He is Parangat. He is expert in these two, in Shabda Brahman and Parabrahman. Then he says Upasham Ashrayam, means that he is also well versed as well as he is detached. He is situated in detachment. He is not attached to any of those activities. He is in a renounced order of life. So this is the verse which was quoted by Prabhuda. Prabhuda was one of the Navyugendras, and he is talking to Maharaj Nini. What he's saying, my dear king, please know for certain that in the material world there is no happiness. Dukhalyam ashashvatam. It is simply a mistake to think that there is happiness here, because this place is full of nothing but miserable conditions. Any person who is seriously desirous of achieving real happiness must seek out a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. Now, this is what he is talking about. The qualification of spiritual master is that he must have realized the conclusions of the scriptures by deliberations and arguments, and thus be able to convince others of these conclusions. Such great personalities who have taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, leaving aside all material considerations, are to be understood as the bona fide spiritual masters. So Upasham Ashrayam means that he has left aside all the material considerations. Everyone should try to find such a bona fide spiritual master in order to fulfill his mission of life, which is to transfer himself to the plane of spiritual bliss. Now, Prabhupada is giving the purport. Prabhupada is saying the purport is that one should not accept as a spiritual master someone who is fool number one, who has no direction according to the scriptural injunctions. Means a bona fide spiritual master should be completely shastric. Okay, the bona fide spiritual master should be completely shastric. He should have full faith in the Shastras. He should not talk anything which is beyond the Shastras. Okay. So, who has no direction according to the scriptural injunctions, whose character is doubtful, who does not follow the principles of devotional service, or who has not conquered the influence of the 6 sense-gratifying agents, that is, tongue, genitals, belly, anger, mind, and words. So this was also given by Sri Rupa Goswami to Jiva Goswami in Uddeshamrita, that who can accept the disciples all over the world. Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jivha Vegam, Udarpastha Vegam, Etan Vegan, so Visahate Dhira. All these urges, the urges of tongue, the urges of belly, the urges of anger, the mind, the words, the genitals, all these urges, if somebody is able to, Vegan refers to urges, Vacho Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, all these urges, if somebody is able to curb them, or Yetan Vegan Yo Visaheta. Visaheta means sahana. Saheta means to sahan karna, tolerating. Urges will come. It's not that urges won't come. Urges will come till the time we are in this human platform, in this human body. But you have to tolerate those urges. You don't have to act upon those urges. So the spiritual master will not only sahata, but visaheta. Vi refers to in a very, very vishesh rupena, in a very, very expert way. He accepts, he tolerates those urges. Dhira, and he becomes a sober. Sarvam apimam prithvim sashishyat. Only that person is allowed to accept disciples on this planet Earth. So to accept such a spiritual master is the crucial point for advancement in spiritual life. The more bona fide the spiritual master is, the more advancement we make in our spiritual life. And one who is fortunate enough to come under the shelter of the bona fide spiritual master is sure to traverse the path of spiritual salvation without any doubt. So this is what Srila Rupa Goswami explains, that what is the qualification, who is a bona fide spiritual master, and he is quoting from Ekadasha Kanda, that is the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and explaining the very first limb of devotional service, that is Guru Padashram. Okay. Second, Shri Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam. He is saying that now I'll talk about the second limb, that you have to, first you take shelter. You take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, and then you accept Shiksha and Diksha from him. Yatha Taitraiva. Tatraiva refers to from the same Ekadasha Khanda, he is giving the example. What quotation, what verse he is quoting? Tatra Bhagavatam Dharmam Shikshet Guruvatma Daivataha Amayaya Anuvritta Yastushyad Atmana Dohari. So he is saying that now I'm giving you the second, that you have to accept the Shiksha and Diksha. Tatra Bhagavatam Dharmam. So when you surrender unto a spiritual master, then what do? You don't test him. Rather, sorry, this call is important. I have to take 1 minute. Where is my bar? Hamid ka phone kar lo. Sorry. So then what do? Tatra Bhagavatam Dharman. Then you have to learn Bhagavatam. You have to learn Bhagavad Dharma from him. You don't have to test him. You have to learn Bhagavad Dharma from that bona fide spiritual master. You have to grab Shiksha, because the way to connect to a bona fide spiritual master is first through Shiksha. You first take his Shiksha and then you accept his Diksha. Okay. Then you accept Shiksha, means you accept some guidance from him on Bhagavad Dharma. You learn Bhagavad Dharma. And that Guru is how? Guru Atma Daivataha. Then that Guru is dear to you as your own Paramatma, as your own Atma, as your own Paramatma. Means he is as good as the Super Soul, and also Daivataha, he is as worshipable as your worshipable deity. Guru Sakshat. So Guru is Hari. He is non-different from Hari. So first, Tatra Bhagavatam Dharma Shikshet, you take guidance on Bhagavad Dharma, and that Guru is Atma Daivata, is as dear to you as your own super soul, Paramatma, and he is as dear to you as your worshipable deity. Sakshat Haritena Samasta Shastra. Then, Amaya Anuvritya, yes, Tushyad Atmano Dohari. Then, without any deceit, then you render certain service. Anuvrittaya, you render service. Service unto that spiritual master. So then he's saying, yes, anyone who does this, who accepts a bona fide spiritual master, who learns Bhagavad Dharma from him, who considers Guru as good as the Supreme Lord, who follows his order and without deceit surrenders some service, anyone who does all this, Tushyad Atmano Dohari, then Lord Hari himself is very, very pleased with that devotee. Krishna is very, very pleased. So accepting initiation from the spiritual master and receiving instructions from him, Sage Prabhuda, again the same Navayogendra, continued to speak to the king as follows. My dear king, a disciple has to accept the spiritual master not only as spiritual master, but also as the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the Super Soul. Okay, so he has to be considered Sakshat Dharitvena Samasta Shastre. He has to be considered as the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Guru Atma Daivataha. In other words, the disciple should accept the spiritual master as God. The spiritual master may say that I am not God, but for the disciple point of view, he should consider the spiritual master as God, because he is the external manifestation of Krishna. This is confirmed in every scripture, and a disciple should accept the spiritual master as such. One should learn Srimad Bhagavatam seriously with all respect and veneration for the spiritual master. No challenging point, no checking on that how much my spiritual master knows. I'm sorry to say, but I've seen many devotees who knows the answer, but still they will ask from the spiritual master either just for the sake of asking, either to be of the prime thing that, I'll be on the spot and everybody will like my question. With this intention, they will ask, or they want to test how much my spiritual master knows. That kind of intention, if we carry and we submit to that spiritual master, that is wrong. We should surrender unto spiritual master with full awe and reverence. Pariprashnena sevaya. That prashna, that inquiry that we offer to the spiritual master, we ask from him, should be very, very submissive, should be full of humility. Hearing and speaking Srimad Bhagavatam is the religious process which elevates one to the platform of serving and loving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The attitude of the disciple should be to satisfy the bona fide spiritual master. The satisfaction of the spiritual master is directly proportional to the advancement of the disciple. Then it will be very easy for him to understand the spiritual knowledge. This is confirmed in the Vedas, and Srila Rupa Goswami will further explain that for a person who has unflinching faith in God and the spiritual master, everything becomes revealed very easily. Divyagyan Hriday Prakashita. Third, Vishrambhena Guru Seva. Now you have to offer. What you have to offer? You have to offer some service, some inherent confidence you should develop in the spiritual master without any doubt. And with that confidence, you should offer some seva unto that spiritual master. Yatha tatraiva, in the same 11th canto. Acharya mam vijaniyam navamanyata karhechit na martya buddhasyata sarva devo mayo guru. So this is explaining that how we should have our perception, our vision towards the spiritual master. Acharya mam vijaniyam. So here Krishna is saying that Acharya, the spiritual master, should be looked upon as if he is me. Means he is non-different from Krishna. That's how we should look at the spiritual master. Means treat him as God. Navamanyata karhechit. And we should never, navamanyata, amanyata. Manyata means to give respect. Amanyata is to disrespect. We should never disrespect him at any point of time. Karhechit. At any point of time, in any way, we should never disrespect the spiritual master. Na martya buddhi, and neither we should have martya buddhi towards the spiritual master. Martya buddhi means that because I belong to this material world, this mortal world, and I am going to die, so for my spiritual master, after all, he is an ordinary human being. That kind of mentality one should never have. Martya buddha nahi honi chahiye. Means we should never consider him as an ordinary mortal living being. Asuyata. Asuyata means na martya buddhya asuyata. Asuyata means we should never envious towards our spiritual master. Never envy. We should never envy him. We should not magnify his faults by considering him that he is an ordinary human being. See, the spiritual master may not be perfect in every subject matter. Okay, but we are nowhere to test him. I'll give you an example. Sometimes during Bhagavatam class, when the spiritual master is reciting verses, another person who is sitting in the audience may be a Sanskrit scholar. The spiritual master is not a Sanskrit scholar. He may make mistakes in reciting certain verses, in some pronunciation, or in some sort of those things. But that doesn't mean that the disciple should think or should magnify the faults of his spiritual master. If that disciple is sitting in that assembly as a disciple, then he should also surrender unto that spiritual master as a disciple. Should not consider that I am greater than my spiritual master, or I know better than that my spiritual master. That kind of mentality will not satisfy the spiritual master, and thus there will be no advancement. No advancement in terms of the disciple. So disciple should be asuyate, means should not be envious, and neither should magnify the faults of the spiritual master. How he should consider? Sarva Deva Mayo Guru. He should consider the spiritual master to be as good as all the demigods. He is the combined personification of all the demigods. My dear Uddhava, this is Krishna who is stating this statement. The spiritual master must be accepted not only as my representative, but as my very self. Acharya mam vijaniyam. He must never be considered on the same level with an ordinary human being. Na martya buddhi. One should never be envious of the spiritual master as one may be envious of an ordinary man. Asuyate. And the spiritual master should always be seen as the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And by serving him, one is able to serve all the demigods. Sarvadayo Mayo Guruhu. This is how we have to offer some service unto the spiritual master, considering him as the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and without having any doubt, with inherent confidence, we should share our thought process to the spiritual master. Means whatever is there in the heart, we should share it with the spiritual master with confidence. And it is from the spiritual master point of view also that he also develops that confidence in the heart of a disciple. And therefore, whatever the disciple is revealing in confidence to the spiritual master also has to keep it in confidence and should guide the disciple so that the disciple can progress in the spiritual path. Serving this, okay, this we have done. Now the fourth is sadhu vartmanu vartanam. Sadhu vartmanu vartanam, that means that one has to following in the footsteps of the great sadhus or the previous sadhus. Yatha Skande. Now Rupa Goswami is quoting from Skanda Puran. Na mrigaya shresham hetu pantha santapa varjitaha anavapta shramam purve yena santa pratasthire. So what he's saying, na mrigyaha. Mrigya means samrigya means that you have to sort out, you have to find out. What you have to find out? Samrigya, you have to find out the pantha. Pantha means the path. What kind of path? The path which is Shreyasham and Hetu. That path which is the source of all auspiciousness and Hetu, and is the cause, is the source, or is the source of all Shreya. The path that is the source of all auspiciousness, and Santapa Varjita, and is also the source of devoiding all kinds of miseries. That path one has to look forward. And anaprapasham purvayena santa pratishtire. And when one finds that path, how will one find that path? Santaha, because that path has already traversed by the saintly people. So one should accept that path and Purvayena Santa Pratishtire. In the past, some saintly people has already traversed that path. So without having any doubt. Anavaptashramam means effortlessly they have walked on that path. So we should also follow in the same path as the previous acharyas have walked through, without having any doubt. In the Skanda Puran, it is advised that a devotee follow the past acharyas and the saintly persons, because by such following one can achieve the desired results and with no chance of lamenting or being baffled in his progress. So you should follow the path that is laid down by the previous acharyas. In this regard, there is very one beautiful story that comes to mind, that there was a village, and in village there is an old man, and he is reciting. In that village there is a river, and that old person is residing near that river. Another traveler who comes in the village, and he wants to cross that river. Now he doesn't find any boat, no log, no way where he can cross. And he was looking here and there that somehow or other he should get someone, or someone could help him so that he can cross over that river. This old person comes in and he says that don't worry, you don't need a boatman, or you don't need any other object in order to cross this river. You come this side, and this side the river is very shallow. So you can easily walk through this river, on this river, and you can cross and you can go on the other side. Now, what this person is a sadhu who has already walked on that path. And he knows that this river is very shallow on this side and it's very easy to cross through. Now, it's up to the traveler that how much faith he can put in those words of that old man. So, the path that has already traversed by our previous acharyas, we should effortlessly walk on that path with full faith and conviction that because they have traversed that path and they have reached the other side, so will I do. That's what Srila Prabhupada says, that have the faith in the process. This process is foolproof. It may take time for individual. One individual may take one lifetime, another may take few years, another may take few lifetimes, but the result is certain. The point is that we have to keep walking. We don't have to take any kind of detour. Similar was the case with the traveler. Now the traveler has this choice, either to walk on the same path on which that old man has been walking for so many years and have faith in his words and should step on that river and start walking. Another is that he may think of some other ideas with his own thought process and look for some other means to cross the river. But the best is to follow the sadhu vartmanu vartante. Follow the path which has already been followed. And he accepted, and it was very easy. The river was very narrow. He can just walk on that river and crossed and reached the other side. So in the Skanda Puran, it is advised that the devotee follow the past acharyas and the saintly persons, because of which one can achieve the desired results with no chance of lamenting or being baffled in this progress. There is no chance of lamenting. Process will work. It may take time depending upon the level of the individual, but the process will work. Now, Prabhupada Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, he is quoting from Brahma Yamala. That means he is quoting from Brahma Yamala Shastra. Shruti Smriti Puranadi Pancharatra Vidhim Vina Aitankti Harer Bhaktir Utpaita Kalpate. Very famous verse, that if someone wants to pose himself to be a great devotee without following the authorities of the revealed scriptures, then his activities will never help him to make progress in devotional service. So, Shruti, Smriti, Puranadi, Pancharatram, Vidhim Vina. If we do not follow these Shastras and act on our own whimsical thought process, then Aitanke Harir Bhaktir Utpaitva Kalpate. Then it's going to create utpat. It's going to create disturbances in the society. Now Prabhupada is explaining, Rupa Goswami Prabhupada is explaining, Bhaktir aitanki veyam avicharat parityate vastutastunat tatha naiva yad ashashri triyakshyate. Means that, what is this Bhaktir aitantiki? It means that if somebody doesn't have any any conviction or any faith, due to lack of faith, and start walking on their own, then that is going to be a concocted way, and that is going to simply create disturbance in the society. And Srila Prabhupada, in his commentary, he quotes that there are those people who do not follow these revealed scriptures. They are known as sahajiyas. Those who have imagined everything to be so cheap, who have their own concocted ideas, and they do not follow the scriptural injunctions. That is bhaktir aikantiki. They are creating unnecessary disturbance. Such persons are simply creating disturbances in the discharge of devotional service. Utpatet kalpate. In this connection, an objection can be raised by those who are not in devotional service and who do not care for the revealed scriptures. An example is seen of the Buddhist philosophy. Lord Buddha appeared in the family of a high-grade Kshatriya king, but his philosophy was not according to the Vedic conclusions and therefore was rejected. Under the patronage of Hindu king Maharaj Ashoka, the Buddhist religion was spread all over the India. However, after the appearance of the great stalwart teacher Shankaracharya, the Buddhism was driven out beyond the borders of India. We know this. Now, Prabhupada is explaining. The Buddhists or other religions do not care for the revealed scriptures. Sometimes say that there may be many devotees of Lord Buddha who show devotional service to Lord Buddha and who therefore should be considered devotees. In answer to this argument, Rupa Goswami says that the followers of Buddha cannot be accepted as devotees. Although Lord Buddha is accepted as an incarnation of Krishna, the followers of such incarnation are not very advanced in their knowledge of the Vedas. So to study the Vedas means to come to the conclusion of the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because Buddha, though the incarnation of Lord Shri Krishna, rejected the Shastras, rejected the Vedas, his devotees or his disciples will not be accepted as devotees. Because he was, therefore, any religious principles which denies the supremacy of the Supreme Lord is not accepted and is called atheism. Atheism means defying the authority of the Vedas and decrying the great acharyas who teach the Vedic scriptures for the benefit of the people in general. So here Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada is saying that if one does not follow the Shastras and does not follow the path that is laid down by the previous acharyas, then their devotional service or their advancement in devotional service is at stake. Even if somebody can be the disciple of the incarnation of the Supreme Lord, like Buddha, but still they will not be considered as devotees, because Lord Buddha came for a specific reason. And that reason was that people were unnecessary opening the slaughterhouse in the name of meat eating. So Lord Buddha came in order to tell them that no, please reject the Vedas. Because in Vedas, on certain days and certain time it is allowed, but on certain circumstances. But irrespective of understanding those circumstances or those conditions or those regulations, people started eating meat left, right, and center and opening slaughterhouses. So to stop that, Lord Buddha has to come and tell them that you have to reject the Vedas. So he came for specific purpose. But later Shankaracharya came and who told them that no, you have to accept the Vedas. So he came for a certain period of time for certain purpose. But because at that time he rejected the Vedas, his devotees cannot be accepted as devotees. It was an atheistic philosophy, the Buddhism and Jainism that we see today. Sadharma Pricha. The fifth one is Sadharma Pricha. Sadharma Pricha means that you have to inquire about the bona fide dharma. What is my dharma? Right? Guru should be such who can give that Bhagavad dharma. In the previous limb, we saw that how we have to inquire about dharma, about Bhagavad dharma from the spiritual master. So Sadharma Pricha. One has to inquire from a bona fide spiritual master about one's dharma. Yatha Naradiya. He is quoting from Narada Purana. Achirat eva sarvartha siddhe esham abhishpita saddharmasya vo bhodya yesham nirbadhini matihi. This means that if one is actually very serious about devotional service, then all his purposes will be served without any delay. So Guru should not be so unapproachable that he doesn't have any time to answer the query of the disciple. So individuals, so this verse says those individuals who have a mindset which is dedicated to understand the true dharma, they quickly realize the fulfillment of their all cherished desires. So all their service will be served without any delay if one is inquiring about their parodharma. And what is that parodharma? Ahituki apratihata. That dharma which is done towards the Supreme Lord. Savai pamsa parodharma. Bhakti adhokshaja. Towards adhokshaja, towards the Supreme Lord. And how that bhakti has to be performed? Tivrena bhakti yogin. It has to be performed with the full enthusiasm and apratiyata and aituki. It has to be performed uninterrupted and unmotivated. Then, if somebody is serious about the devotional service, then all the purposes will be served without any delay. Sixth one, Krishna ante bhogadi tyago yatha padme. Now, he is saying bhogadi tyago means that you have to give up the sense enjoyment, etc. Adi means etc. Bhoga means sense enjoyment. One has to give up the sense enjoyment for Krishnarthe, for the pleasure of Lord Shri Krishna. So he is quoting from Padma Puran, Harim uddishya bhogani kale tyaktva tastave Vishnu loka stita sampad alola sa pratikshate. In Padma Puran it is stated, for one who has given up his material sense enjoyment and has accepted the principles of devotional service, the opulence of Vishnu Loka is awaiting. Sampad alola sa pratikshate. Pratiksha karta hai. Vaikuntha Lok is waiting for that person to welcome that person. But what we do, what desires the devotees have, the desires that devotee has is not to go to Vaikuntha, is not to go to Golok Vrindavan, but have only desire to be engaged in the service of the divine couple. That is the only desire that the devotees have. But Srila Rupa Goswami says that anyone who tyaga, who gives up the desire for sense enjoyment for the pleasure of Krishna, for them, Vishnu Loka awaits them, awaits for their welcoming. Means the opulence of Vishnu Loka is awaiting for that devotee. Seventh, Dwarka Adi Nivaso. So again, Dwarka Adi. Adi refers to Dwarka, etc. And of course, Gangera Pisannidhau. That also we saw, that on the banks of river Ganga. Yatha Skande. So now he is again quoting from Skanda Puran. Samvatsaram vav samvasam masam masadharam evava dwarka vashina sarve nara naras chaturbhujaha. Those nara, those devotees who are staying in Dwarka Vasina, means those who are Dwarka Vasis, staying in Dwarka. How long? Samvastaram va, sanmasam. They are staying for 6 months. Or they are staying for masam, for 1 month. Or they are staying for fortnight, for 15 days. Masa ardham means half of the month. Whether one is staying for half of the month or full month or for 6 months. But if somebody is in Dwarka, if somebody is staying in Dwarka, Sarve Nara Naras Chaturbhuja, those Naras, those people will get Chaturbhuja form, means they will get the Sarupya Mukti. That is the benefit of staying in some dham. In the Skanda Puran, it is there that one who lived in Dwarka for 6 months, for 1 month, or even for 1 fortnight, there is awaiting elevation to the Vaikuntha Lok for all profits of Sarupya Mukti. Now here says Dwarka Adi. This Adi, Rupa Goswami is explaining, Adi Padena Purushottam Vasischa. Now he's saying not only Dwarka Dham, but I am talking about Puri Dham, Purushottam Dham. And now he's quoting from Brahma Puran, Yatha Brahme. Ahoshetrasya Mahatmayam Sammanta Dasha Yojanam Dvishtha Yatra Pashyanti Sarvan Eva Chaturbhujan. Anyone who is staying in that Purushottam Kshetra, in that Kshetra, then 80 square mile field of Lord Jagannath place. That is the significance that anybody who is staying cannot be properly described. Even the demigods from the higher planetary system see those inhabitants of Jagannath Puri exactly as the same bodily features possessed as one in Vaikuntha. Sarvan Eva Chaturbhujan. The demigods from that distance, and if anybody is staying in this Purushottam Kshetra, which is 80 square mile field, in that periphery, if anybody is staying, then the demigods in the above, they are seeing those inhabitants as four-handed forms. That's the beauty, that's the significance of staying in Purushottam Kshetra. Then we saw that Dwarka Nivaso, but in that we saw that Ganga Aderapi Sannidhau, staying near Ganga. So there he is quoting about Ganga Adivaso, if somebody is staying on the bank of river Ganga. And he is quoting from the Pratham Skanda, that is the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Very beautiful verse. Vavai Lachasri Tulasi Vimishra Krishnangri Renu Abhyakta Kambu Netri Punati Lokan Ubhatra Sheshan Kastamna Sasevata Marishamana. So this is our king Parikshit, who was fasting, who sat on the banks of river Ganga. So there the devotee, the sages, they are saying that this river, Yavai Lasat Shri Tulasi Mishra, this Ganga is mixed. It's very, very auspicious because it is mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. Because the Lord always has tulsi leaves on his lotus feet. And this water of Ganga, when washes the lotus feet of the Lord, it carries those tulsi leaves. Therefore, the water sanctifies the three worlds, inside and outside. Krishnangi Renu Abhyadhikta Kamu Netri Punati Sheshan. It also purifies Lord Shiva, who holds this Ganga, and other demigods. So then rhetorical question is asked. Kastam na sevate marishamana. Who, the person who is dying, will not take shelter of such a river, when this river is so auspicious that it is carrying the flavor of tulsi that is offered at the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna, and is flowing and spreading the glories of Lord Krishna and sanctifying both externally and internally. Then who will not take shelter of such a river, especially when the person is dying? So this is for Parikshit Maharaj. This is the beauty of staying Ganga Adivasa, near these auspicious rivers like Ganga and Yamuna. 8. Yavad Arthanuvartita. Yavad Arthanuvartita. That is the 8th one, which is accepting only whatever is needed for our practical behavior. Yavad Artha. Artha means the wealth that one is collecting. Anuvartita. He is quoting from Narada Puran. Yavad Syaso Nirvaha Swikuryat. Tavad Arthavit. those who are a person who knows the true goal, those who are arthavit, they accept yavat syat swi nirvaha. अपने निर्वाह के लिए means whatever is needed for maintaining one's bare necessities, स्वीकुर्यात्, he will accept. Na adhike nyuntam, he will not accept more, he will not accept less. Cha chavate paramartha, and that will help him to come to the path of transcendence. So anything lesser or greater than that will cause him to fall from the path of transcendence. So therefore he will accept whatever is needed because he is arthavit. One should not accept more than necessary if he is serious about discharging devotional service. Now Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada is quoting and taking this on to a different level. Not only the possession wise, but he's saying anything should not be accepted which is more than necessary. And he is quoting about, he's giving the example of chanting. For example, it may be said that one should chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra at least 100,000 times. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I will only accept food from someone who is lakhapati, who is 1 lakh, who is having this, who is lakhapati means not materially, wealth-wise, but who is chanting at least 100,000 times, 1 lakh names every day on his beads. But if this is not possible, then one must minimize his chanting according to his own capacity. So this also Prabhupada is saying, Yavat Arthanuvartita, Jitna ho sake, utna karo. Generally, we recommend our disciples to chant at least 16 rounds on their japa beads daily, and this should be completed. But if one is not able to chant 16 rounds, then he must take up the next day. Now, this is on a very, very extreme condition. We should not take it as a norm that, okay, today I was being lazy or lethargic, or I'm not able to complete my 16 rounds. Let me carry forward. Prabhupada said that you can do it the next day. This is on a very, very extreme circumstances when we really have no time either for eating, sleeping, or any other things, and we are not able to do our chanting. Then next day. Otherwise, 99.99999% try to do it on that very day and complete your chanting. He must be sure to keep his vow. If he does not strictly follow out this, he is sure to be negligent. That is offensive in the service of the Lord. If we encourage offenses, we shall not be able to progress in devotional life. It is better if one fixes up a regulative principle according to one's own ability and then follows that vow without fail. That will make him advanced in spiritual life. So, नामना आकारी बहुधा निज सर्व शक्ति तत्र पिता नियमते स्मरणे न काला. Rupa Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, there is no limit, there is no rules and regulations, no niyam, no regulations of chanting. So we should do it as per our own ability. How many rounds we have to chant? At minimum 16, but above that, not making competition with others. Oh, he or she is chanting 32, 64, I should go above that. No. We can take inspiration, but again, we have to judge our own ability. And then follow that vow without fail. So, Adarat Anudinam. That's what Srila Rupa Goswami explains in Shri Updeshamrita. That chanting has to be done with Adarat, with full respect. And Anudinam. And the same rounds has to be followed every day without fail. It's not that today I'm chanting 32 rounds because I was inspired by some devotee and I chanted for 1 week and then again I got down to my 16. That should not be the case. According to one's ability. Morning time doesn't suit me. Okay, mid-morning time. Mid-morning time doesn't suit me. Okay, I can chant in the afternoon because it depends upon the circumstances in which the person is. Every individual has different circumstances. We cannot compare. Recommendation is to chant 16 rounds in the morning But in case if something happens, that rigid rule is not there. Okay, so Prabhupada is saying, according to one's own ability, and then follow that vow without fail. That will make him advanced in spiritual life. We are already in time and I have not even finished. Okay. Harivasara Sammano Yatha Brahme Vivartate. Now Prabhupada is explaining the next one. Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada. Brahma Vivarta Puran. Harivasara Sammano means respecting the days of Lord Hari, like Ekadashi. Sarva Papa Prashamanam Punyam Atyantikam Tatha Govinda Smaranam Nirnam Ekadasham Upashayam. For all humans, for all Nirnam means all humans. For all humans, the remembrance of Lord Govinda Smaranam, and the fasting of the days, Ekadasya Upasanam, keeping Ekadashi Upavas, is the cause of what? Sarva Papa Prashammanam, is the cause of the destruction of all sins. What is the cause? Keeping Ekadashi fast, but also remembering Govinda. Govinda Smaranam, this is important, is the cause. It becomes the cause for all the people that they're all papas, they're all sinful deeds are destroyed, sins are destroyed. And punyam atyantikam ekdam, and they'll get extreme punyam, devotional piety they will achieve. But here, though it says Harivasara Sammano, that you have to respect those days of Hari, like the appearance days or Ekadashi fast. But the point is, importance is given to Govinda Smaranam, that remembrance of Govinda should be there. If we keep Ekadashi fast and we keep thinking of food, we keep thinking of street foods or some delicious food that we like, there is no point of keeping that fast. Upavas means to come near to the Supreme Lord. Upavas, right? So, and that can only happen when we have the remembrance of Govinda. That is actual Ekadashi fasting. Ekadashi fast is freed from all kinds of sinful reactions. One who observes, fasting on Ekadashi day is freed from all kinds of reactions to sinful activities. Sarva Papa Pramashanam, and advances in pious life. Punyam Atyantikam Tatha. The basic principle is not just to fast, but to increase one's faith and love for Govinda or Krishna. Govinda Smaranam. The real reason for observing fasting on Ekadashi is to minimize the body demands of the body, and to engage our time in the service of the Lord by chanting or performing similar service. The best thing to do on fasting days is to remember the pastimes of Govinda and to hear his holy name constantly. That is the real meaning of Upavas. Now this is already 9:30. 9:31 means almost 12. So what should we do? We should continue or we should stop? Okay, it's too much, so much to say.
I think you can do it next class, no?
That's what I was thinking. That we covered till 9, from 10 to 18, which is also in this chapter only. We'll continue next week because I don't want to do any kind of haste in this, because this is a very wonderful subject matter what we are covering. So let's go slow. And we'll cover the rest of the 11 means from 10 to 18, we'll cover next week, the important limbs that Rupa Goswami mentions. Okay. So what we did is, we talked about, first is Guru Padashraya, and we talked about taking Shiksha and Diksha from him. And we talked about Seva, doing Seva to that Shri Guru. Then we talked about following the footsteps of the sadhus, and how if we don't follow the footsteps of the sadhus and we reject the Shastras, then unnecessarily it will create some disturbance in the society. And then after accepting this bona fide spiritual master, we should also inquire about our dharma, And our dharma should be that we should be very, very serious about devotional service. And then we talked about how we have to give up all the objects of sense enjoyment, but for what? For Krishnarthe, for the pleasure of Lord Shri Krishna. Then we talked about staying near Dwarka Dham or Mathura Dham or Purushottam Dham, staying near Dham, staying in Dham, staying near River Ganga or River Yamuna. That is so good. And finally, we saw, in 8th, we saw that Yatha Arthanuvartita means we should accept whatever is our capability. And finally, the last we saw is respecting the days of Lord Hari, but the importance is given not only to the days, but also not only to the upavas or the fasting that we do, but the importance is given to Govinda Smaranam, remembrance of the Supreme Lord on those special days. So we'll stop here. Let's see if we have any quick questions, any realizations, any corrections. We can go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you so much for such a nice class. I really liked about the explanation about Guru. It was very nice when you said, yeah, the one you're taking. I mean, the idea is when you're inclined to take Siksha from somebody, that person can also. I mean, that person can eventually be a Diksha Guru, something like that you were mentioning. I think that is true in everyone's life. When we try to choose a Diksha Guru, that's what happens, and whom we are inclined to hear from. And like you said, he functions as the Paramatma and our worshipable deity as well, which naturally happens. So thank you so much. Very, very beautiful class. And we have few raised hands, Mataji. We can start with Parim Mataji.
Yeah, go ahead, Parimam.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you. What an intense class, Mataji. So much to remember. And it's very hard to retain, but it's of course very, very interesting. And thinking about practicing it is like at least I feel that I am so far away from practicing such intense things, Mataji. I had this one quick question that typically our Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommends 64 rounds or 100,000 janam. Mataji, at least on my level, if we cannot chant that many, is it okay if we can do the other limbs of bhakti like Shravanam or like reading Prabhupada books or doing some activity for the deities? Will that also be considered, or it is that chanting is the best? I was just always thinking like that, Mataji.
See, we have to do all the limbs of devotional service. We are not on the level. See, if we consider Srila Haridas Thakur was non-stop chanting. He was the Naam Acharya. Right? Now see the condition of Haridas Thakur. Born from a Muslim background, not allowed to do any kind of service. No deity worship he can do. He cannot do any Vaishnav seva because he was condemned from the lower this society. So what he has left with was just Naam.
Chanting, yes.
Just chanting. So he utilized it. He did chanting and he followed the orders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, did Nama Sankirtan, went with Nityananda Prabhu door to door and telling all the devotees, all the people to chant the name of Krishna. So that's all what he can do. Now we see in the case of Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered them, go to Vrindavan, write devotional scriptures, excavate the holy places. Now in doing that, is there any mention that they were chanting so many number of rounds? They have other services to do. So as per one's ability, we should decide. Every individual is different. We cannot compare ourselves with others.
Okay.
But whatever we have decided for ourselves, see, minimum 16, the minimum range, yes, we should follow.
Yes.
But above that, we have to decide our number. And that too under the guidance of our Shiksha and Diksha Gurus, not just on our own. And we have to do it with Adharat and Anudinam. We have to do it every day with respect. Not that today I have make it a vow that I from today onwards I'll chant 32 rounds and I have small kids to take care of. I am a mother of small children. I have to take care of their schoolwork. I have to take care of their going to schools and other homework, etc. And then I take this vow of chanting 32 rounds, and then I'm just pulling the beads down and waiting when that round will be over. Do you think Krishna will be happy with it?
No, Mataji, that's true.
Another thing is that recommendation is morning time,
Yeah.
Brahma Muhurta. Now imagine a pregnant lady. Do you think it will be easy for her to wake up early in the morning and do chanting 16 rounds?
Just not pregnant, even nursing lady or having young
Nursing
children.
ladies or the ladies who have small kids.
Mm.
Do you think that they will be able to wake up early in the morning?
No, Mataji.
So every individual is different. So we should do it as per our own ability. That's why Srila Prabhupada brought this point in that limb of devotional service, that do as per your ability. Now, on the other hand, you are being lethargic and you are taking this as an excuse and not utilizing your time in any limb of devotional service. Now, that is also not right. So, chanting, reading Shastras, our Swadhyay is also very important. Prabhupada has written these books not just to distribute, not just to so that we can talk, but also we should study these books scrutinizingly for our own Swadhyay, not just to preach, but to transform ourselves. And you have to take out time for this also. At the same time, you cannot neglect your family. If you neglect your family, the family will go against. You take a vow of chanting 64 rounds and your whole house is at mess. Imagine what will be the condition of the entire family. If the house is not clean, the family members will be upset. They will be frustrated. That frustration will be going in and around the house, and that will affect you also and your 64 rounds also. So you have to decide your own thing, that how much you can give. You have to do deity worship. You have to sing some Vaishnava bhajans. You have to at least study Srila Prabhupada books, maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, but you have to. Prabhupada has written these books for us.
That's true. But Mataji, will Mahaprabhu be pleased? Because Mahaprabhu.
Of course, Mahaprabhu will be pleased.
Who is
Of course.
I will never be a.
Mahaprabhu will be pleased. He is not transactional like Krishna. Mahaprabhu will definitely be pleased because we are in this Kali Yuga and Mahaprabhu knows that with what intention we are doing what. Mahaprabhu knows. Okay, so please don't take unnecessary big vows that tomorrow we ourselves fail in following those vows. Or we do it just for the namesake.
Or we do it just to please somebody.
Or we do it just to please somebody.
Yes.
In any case, we should not do. See your own ability and do it. That's all.
Thank you, Mataji. Wonderful points. Many things I learned from you. So I'm really in debt to you. Danvat pranams to you. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Sunil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, just a follow up. Like you said, that we should vow to do some to please others. What's wrong in it? I couldn't get it.
Means that you want to please others, and that's why you take big vows that today I will chant 60 rounds, 64 rounds, or 72 rounds, or 128 rounds, just to please others. No, here we are not to please others. Here we are there to please only Lord Shri Krishna. Let Krishna be pleased. Let the whole world spit on me, but Krishna should be pleased. And let the whole world is pleased by me. But if Krishna is not happy, if my Shri Guru is not happy, what's the point? So don't do it for the pleasure of others. Or don't do it just for the namesake. Do it
Impressing others.
Or you can say, yes, impressing others. No, we should not do that.
Yeah, thank you
Here
so
we
much,
are
Mataji.
not there to write our name in some place that, okay, this person is chanting this much rounds. No, this is our own bhajan. It has to kept confidential. It should not be leaked out. Narottam Das Thakur sings that don't sing your bhajan, means, what is that? I forgot that verse. I used to remember. Means, like in Hindi, I'll say, जितना भजन करते हो जथा जथा से गाओ
आपनार
मत.
भजन ना
हाँ,
करिबे
आपना
यथातथा.
भजन, हाँ, आपना भजन गाओ मत, अपना भजन गाओ मत, that I'm doing this much, this much, this much. Whatever we are doing it for the pleasure of Lord Shri Krishna, and let the divine couple be pleased with it, with all the sincere efforts that I am putting in my bhajan. Now, this bhajan includes everything. This bhajan includes Vaishnava Seva. This bhajan includes giving classes. This bhajan includes Nam Smaran. This bhajan includes Swadhyay, reading, studying Srimad Bhagavatam and other devotional scriptures. This bhajan includes everything. So we have to hide this. We don't have to leak out on the public forum. Right?
I wanted
Thank
to
you, sir.
add Niyamagraha and Niyamagraha to the question.
Yes. Unnecessary, don't burden yourselves. Yes, Shivani Mataji.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Kirtida Sundari Mataji, thank you for a very beautiful class. Mataji, my question is, how does one find Siksha Guru and Diksha Guru? Because I've been praying and, I don't
That's all. That's all you can do. You have to keep praying, keep praying. And that prayer should be very, very intensified prayer towards Lord Shri Krishna. That please help me find my bona fide spiritual master. And that same Lord Shri Krishna, who is sitting in the heart as Chaitya Guru, will reveal to you that this is your spiritual master. And this is how you get Shiksha from him, and eventually you take Diksha from him.
So it could be that I'm lacking then, right, in my prayers, because it's been.
I'll not say that you are lacking. Maybe the time is not right now. So for any case, whether the time is not proper, whether we are lacking in our prayers, whether my karmic reactions are still so much, then in either case, our part of the contract is that we have to keep praying. That's all.
Thank you, Mataji. One more question, Mataji. So, when the family is not into Krishna consciousness, and also they don't want you doing anything. So you do everything, like every little bit, every little single thing in hiding. It's like you feel like a thief, but you don't have any other choice.
Okay. It's perfectly okay. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says you should love Krishna as if you are having an extramarital affair. So a woman who is having an extramarital affair, do you think she will tell that affair in the family to her husband? She will never tell. But she will do her household chores so properly that they may not even doubt that she is having an extramarital affair. And at the same time, she'll get extra time to go and meet her paramour. Such a crude example, but so true in our devotional life. Similarly, for Krishna also, we should hide. We should hide our love for Krishna. But at the same time, we should carry out our household duties so perfectly that nobody can question or point fingers on us or judge us. But at the same time, we find so much time to please my Lord Shri Krishna. This is how we should. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving the example. This is how we should carry out.
So the other thing, Mataji, is like, because even the kids are not in favor. So if I listen to things in the car and all that, even them, they have come to a point where they say, you are so much into this Krishna consciousness, you are.
So that's okay. Don't do it in front of them, no?
But then, being Grasta, everybody is home all the time.
So, but still you will fight.
The
You
only
have
time you
to,
get when you're alone, like in the driving.
yeah, yeah. So whatever time you have, whatever time, that lady who is having an extramarital affair will adjust everything to meet her beloved.
Thank you. Hari
So
Bol.
that's all we have to do. That's all.
Thank
Find
you,
that intensity of love we should have towards Krishna.
Thank you so much. Please pray for me. Because, sometimes it hurts when your own kids tell you that you are like
No
crazy or
hurting,
something.
Mataji. No hurting. Don't get hurt. This is our karmic reactions. Tolerate it. Tolerate it, tolerate it, tolerate it. This will reduce your karmic reactions. Maybe not this lifetime, your next lifetime will be super smooth. Super duper smooth.
Yes,
So,
Mataji, I
tolerate.
tolerate it, but when they say to me that you are crazy or something, like so much like
Don't do
fanatic.
such things where they point out. Don't do such things in front of them where they can point out fingers onto you that you are crazy, you are a fanatic, or you are this or you are that. You have to really be a secret lover. Right?
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Dhanapana.
And Krishna loves it. So the more you do it, Krishna will love it. Yes, Sudhakar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Very nice explanation. Of course, my question was similar to the one Shivani Mataji has asked you, but a little bit need one more clarification of my understanding of the first principle, like Guru Padashraya, that is taking shelter of spiritual master, right? Yes, I don't have any Diksha Guru or Siksha Guru right now, but is it okay to consider like the spiritual who is not physically existing, like for example, say Prabhupada, his books or his sites, can we consider that as him as a spiritual master? That is one doubt I had. But somewhere somebody.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Prabhu.
Maybe somewhere I heard that a spiritual master should also be physically, there where you communicate with him to take the direct instruction rather than looking at repetitions of his books. So I get confused between those.
No
And
confusion.
that's why I
It's
asked
a
the
straight.
question when we say
No,
take.
no confusion, Prabhu. It's a straightforward process. Srila Prabhupada is the Shiksha Guru of the entire community we belong to. He is the Shiksha Guru. Because whatever we are studying, we are reading, is Srila Prabhupada's purport, is the Shiksha that is given, is the instructions that is being given by Srila Prabhupada only. But at the same time, we have to accept the living Guru. We have to accept someone who can hold our ears and who can make us walk straight on this path of devotional service, with whom we can ask our inquiries submissively, with whom we can offer some service. Vishrambhena Guru Seva. Right? This Seva is also very important. So all these things are important, which is not possible right now with Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada is the Shiksha Guru, but at the same time, you have to accept initiation, Diksha, from a bona fide spiritual master in that parampara. No confusion. Make it very, very clear. Make it very, very clear. No confusion at all. You have to accept somebody in the line of Srila Prabhupada, your Diksha Guru, who can help you advance in the spiritual life. These Diksha Gurus are also giving you initiation on behalf of Srila Prabhupada only. But at the same time, they are the living Gurus who is going to guide you personally. That personal mentorship is needed. That's why I say, don't accept someone who cannot give you a time. So spiritual master should always be able to render some time so that our inquiries are fulfilled. That's how we have to accept someone as our Diksha Guru. Yes, Sudhakar. Rupal Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dhanwad Pranam. Such a wonderful nectarian class, Mataji. So I had a similar question as Mataji and Prabhu. So let's say if you have endeavor and mercy, is there also like a prarabdha karma
No.
disturbing for not getting to meet you with your.
Everything is our prarabdha karmas only. Everything is because of prarabdha only. But at the same time, let's offer those prarabdha also to Krishna. Oh Krishna, okay, whatever has happened, and I am here to bear those prarabdha karma. But at the same time, now please accept me as I am. Please show me the way with which I can reach out to you. I wasted my immemorial lifetimes by being against you. But in this lifetime, now I want to surrender unto you. I want you to please help me to walk on this path of devotional service. So please show me the way. Please show me the personality with whom I can surrender and can show me your path. So with the mercy of Krishna, you'll get Guru. And with the mercy and guidance of Guru, you will get Krishna.
So Mataji, I have attended your couple of classes. You always suggest that you should select a guru which gives you time. So I met one Mataji. She's disciple of Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and she mentioned she never met him, and she decided to. So does the telepathy works if even if you don't meet your Guru Maharaj? Telepathy is.
See, very true that there are many Srila Prabhupada disciples who have not even met Srila Prabhupada, right? And they got initiation through letters. Like I'll say the classic example of Sripada Indra Prabhu. Only once in his lifetime he saw Srila Prabhupada. Only once. And that too when he was in Krishna Balram temple and he was playing and he was doing kirtan and Prabhupada just came, sat on Vyasasan and Prabhupada said the word Jai. Means he was very happy. That's it. That's what's the only conversation of Sripada Indra Prabhu with Srila Prabhupada. And there are many others who got initiation from Srila Prabhupada. See, if we have that much of dedication, then of course we can accept spiritual master, even though if he has no time. But the spiritual master also takes care of it. Like I give you the example, Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, more than 60,000 disciples. But he accepted because Srila Prabhupada told him to accept these many disciples. But at the same time, he is very, very, he takes care that he knows his disciple. He meets his disciples regularly on Zoom calls and other ways. And if we see in the case of Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj, maybe you cannot directly approach him, but there is a counselor system where the counselors help you to approach or to answer your queries or to approach Maharaj. So either case, all the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, if they are themselves very busy, they'll make it a point that you are still connected to Parampara and you are connected to them by either way. Okay. So in that case, like you said about that Mataji, maybe she is not able to talk directly to Maharaj, but through the counseling system, the wonderful system that Maharaj has set up, that makes it importance in one's life, and then you can connect to Maharaj through them.
No, it is not that she was not able to. She mentioned, I don't need to. Like some souls are so elevated,
See, the
So
importance and connection with spiritual master is always
yes,
24 by
yes.
7. I will never feel at any one point of time that I don't need the guidance of my spiritual
Like
master.
because maybe he's busy and she may not want to disturb in that context. Then like everyone wants to meet, but
Yes.
yeah.
So again, it depends upon person to person. But at the same time, you should seek a spiritual master who can really help you, guide you. Because accepting a spiritual master is not for the namesake. That one who is very famous, I will accept him as a spiritual master. That should not be the mood. The mood should be whose siksha, whose instruction really brings transformation in your heart. That should be chosen as your spiritual master.
So is it possible that some people may get dream of who the
Why not? Of course, why not? Why not? Through Chaitya Guru, the Supreme Lord who is sitting in your heart will guide you, will give you all the ways in which you will come to know that he is my spiritual master.
The Chaitya Guru is same as Paramatma, and if you surrender,
Yeah,
he becomes
Paramatma
Bhagwan.
is the Chaitya Guru. Yes, Paramatma is the Chaitya Guru. Yes.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Nutan Mataji, last question.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you for the beautiful class. How do we traverse the water body, which you told that part was nice. How we should have faith on the sadhu because they have already traversed that path and we can blindly follow. It will not be waste of time for us as well. That is one point, Mataji. And just now, Rupal Mataji, my query was on the similar thing, Mataji. Means interaction ke liye we do not interact with our Guru Maharaj directly. So is it when I'm listening to his lectures, he solves multiple questions which I have or multiple means if we are going through certain problems also we get solutions for it when we are listening to their lecture. Is it that kind of interaction?
Yeah, that is also one way of interacting. When you seek answers when others are asking and you are getting the answers for your questions, for your doubts. Yes.
Mataji, thank you very much. That was one point. Thanks a lot. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, one quick. That Dwarka was Vrindavan or the real Dwarka in Gujarat
Dwarka in Gujarat.
In Gujarat. So they say 15 days or 1 month, not 1 day, right?
They say either 6 months or even a month or even for 15 days if somebody decide.
So, okay, not 1 day. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, last question, sorry. Mataji, why Ekadashi doesn't remove sinful impressions? Like I heard it only removes the reactions.
So
why it doesn't remove sinful impressions? For reactions, there is chanting, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, they all can remove. Then what is special about Ekadashi?
Sarva Papa Prashanam. That it minimizes the demands and engage and Ekadashi is freed from all kinds of reactions to the sinful activities and advances in pious life. Means whatever we have performed the sinful activities, the prarabdha, the reactions of those sinful activities which are stored in our sanchit karma will be destroyed by observing fast on Ekadashi day.
But it will not remove the sinful impressions, right?
See, slowly when that entire sanchit karma is destroyed, that also contains the bija, the seed form, that gives rise to proclivities. So slowly and gradually, those will also be destroyed. Don't get to the literal meaning. The point is that your slate will be clean slate.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mataji. That was the confusion. Thank you so much. So it will remove
eventually, when the sanchit karmas are destroyed, the sanchit karma has the bija also. Right? So the bijas will be destroyed. When the bijas are destroyed, the seed is destroyed, the proclivity of performing the sinful reactions will be destroyed. So eventually the entire सब पूरे गोदाम में आग लग जाएगी. Right? So the entire godown will be burnt. So nothing will be left. Then it's clean slate and you can start afresh.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Okay, so thank you so much. Yes, Parima Mataji.
Sorry, Mataji, for holding you up. One last quick question. You said that the bijas will be destroyed. Mataji, all this destruction will take place only because of our chanting or because of all our devotional activities? Just last.
See why you are stuck. It is said.
I'm sorry.
Chanting is one of the limb of devotional service. See, it's one of the limbs.
I always feel that my chanting is too low. Just
Shravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam Vandanam, dasyam, sakhyam, atmanivedanam. Perform anything. Parikshit Maharaj didn't do chanting. He did Shravanam, but with 100% intensity. Sukhdev Goswami was the epitome of Kirtanam. Lakshmi Devi's Pad Sevanam.
Yes.
Akrura was Archanam. Ritu Maharaj, Vandanam. So all this is that whatever you do, whatever limb, Ambrish Maharaj did all 9 processes. So these are the different processes of devotional service. You can perform all or you can excel in one. It depends upon you. With what interest you are doing, with what intensity you are doing.
Okay.
Okay, don't get just stuck to simply chanting.
Okay, Mataji.
Chanting is good. Chanting
Yeah,
is good. I'm
of
not
course.
saying chanting is not good. Chanting is actually
Key.
key point. Because that is japa. Even Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, among all the yagyas, I am japa. Right? Chanting is the key point. But that chanting has to be performed in a very, very respectable manner.
Yes.
That is my point. If the chanting is not done with full reverence, with full respect, and it is not chanted every day with that same respect, then unnecessary increasing the rounds won't help.
Okay, Mataji.
Okay, so
Thank
that's
you,
how,
Mataji. Thank you so much.
how we have to take it up, and that's how we have to understand.
Yes.
Otherwise, as notice that verse. Somehow I'm forgetting that verse. तारा मध्य सर्वश्रेष्ठ नाम
Sankirtan Niraprade Namalele
Pave Premadhan. So among all those 9 processes, it says that Nama Sankirtan is best. But what it says, Nama Sankirtanam. Chanting, chanting the name, chanting in the congregational chanting. Not japa.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Mataji. Thank you so much for clarifying everything so nicely. Thank you, Mataji. And Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hi,
Okay,
Mataji, last question.
yeah,
So after excelling in one limb, I don't need to do other limbs, right, Mataji? And how do I know I have excelled in one limb?
I'm not saying that you don't have to do other limb. Keep on doing those limbs and then see where you land up. Or do all. We are not on the level of that devotee where we can stuck to one limb. I may have the interest in deity worship. I may have the interest in circumambulating dham. I may have interest in chanting, in hearing, in remembering, doing all possibilities. But if somebody is doing one limb and doing it with that great intensity, the result will be the same. That's the point.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you so much. So we will stop here. Thank you for all your wonderful questions, and sorry if I was able to make sense or not able to make sense, but I tried my best as per my limited knowledge. So if I've committed any offenses against any one of you or my answers were not suitable, then please forgive me, and you can ask seniors, your Shiksha Gurus, your Diksha Gurus. Definitely they are the authorities. I'm not the authority. So we will stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhayeva
पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
Koti Vaishnav Vrindi ki
वैष्णववृंद
jai.
की जय प्रभुपाद की
Jai.
जय
Jai Shri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki jai. Shri Rupa
और
Goswami.
ग्रेस कीर्तिदा सुंदरी देवी
Mataji ki jai.
जय हरे
Thank you,
कृष्ण
Mataji.
माता
Hare
जी दंडवत
Krishna.
प्रणाम such a
Hare
nice answers माता जी so inspiring to me
Pranam.